Well, what I like to say is that we're not advertised. We can't say everything that we use or pesticides in general are safe. What makes pesticides safe is that they are licensed, they're registered by each state, and they have to be used accordingly by the label for the target pest, and they have to be applied specifically to how the directions say. So when a licensed applicator, a professional company who's licensed and trained to apply pesticides for a specific pest problem, whether it be ticks, spiders, bees, even rodents. Now that's a rodenticide, they have different kinds. But some people will say pesticides for all kinds of pests, but let's just say.
Wait, does it work on all bugs?
There's pesticides, there's wide spectrum pesticides out there. There's so different types of formulations. There's indoor formulations and there's outdoor formulations. So let's start off with the indoor formulation pesticides that you may be concerned about being contacted, or you are familiar with your professional pest management professional who applies pesticides in your home. Are they safe? Well, I like to tell you the way they're applied inside the home, they're very safely applied. All the products that we use for indoor use have no volatility, meaning they don't go into the air, you're not breathing it. Once they dry, they fast drying. So say like within half an hour after everything's been sprayed, crack and crevices, strategic spots, even spot treatments. You don't have to spray every corner, every square inch of the home. You're not going to have any odor, you're not going to breathe it. And once it dries, it's going to bond with the surface, and it's not going to come, if you come in skin contact with it somehow, if you touch the surface that was sprayed, it's not going to transfer to the skin. So you're not going to get any dermal absorption, you're not going to breathe it, and it is safe. It is safe. The products that we use, the way we apply it, it's safe. Pesticides in general, that's why you shouldn't really be storing pesticides in your home, because you don't know. You don't know what you're coming in contact with. It's better to have the professional apply pesticides in your home, because that professional knows what product to select and how to apply it, and to give you any caution, warning, meaning maybe you shouldn't be in the home at the time the professional's applying the pesticide product. Maybe you should be at school. So when you come home from school...
Why not?
Huh?
Why not?
Because when you're applying it, while it's in the sweat form, it's not dry yet. So you don't want a professional coming in spraying something high above around the window for spiders, and maybe the droplets that spray down can come down in the mist that you may come in contact with it for that short period of time. So when professionals say, if you're in a room and a professional spraying high up for like bed bugs or spiders or silverfish, he wouldn't want to come in any kind of risk of having any bit of droplet of a pesticide come in contact with you, because a professional usually use eye protection, head special protection, long sleeves, and gloves. Because you don't want that product that's coming out that's supposed to be directed to the specific target area. There could be some residual coming down on that person. And it's common sense to not apply pesticides, even though they are safe. You don't want to come into any contact, because all people are different when it comes to allergies and sensitivities. So, but once pesticide has been selected and used, and once it's dried, correctly applied, it is 100% safe. And if you use a good long-lasting product, then it will reduce the amount of applications, meaning maybe once a year or twice a year do an indoor treatment, so you don't have to do like a monthly spray and stuff like that. Now outdoor formulations are usually stronger, so of course it's not a hazard. I mean, there could be a problem, using the outdoor stuff, because the outdoor pesticides are much stronger. And, they could be volatile because they're supposed to penetrate bushes and trees to get those bees, contact killing. But are you worried about pesticides when it's being applied? Or are you worried about pesticides later, like down the road, like if there's an impact on the environment. Is that your question, or what is your question to me?
Well, what I'm trying to ask you if it's like safe to use around the environmental, like trees, bushes, flowers, stuff like that.
Absolutely. Well, they have these new formulation. If you're treating like trees, for instance, the problem with pesticides in general is that the drift. The higher you spray a pesticide up in there, the more likely the droplets are going to be more fine to reach that high up, and the most likely that pesticide will take a chance on drifting into another neighboring property or a pool or a fish pond. So these products that are usually sprayed up high in trees are more likely to be natural, like with cedar oil, mineral oil. So with a non-pesticide residual that basically doesn't kill the bugs, but it repels insects like caterpillars, stuff that eats the trees, and it uses that mineral oil to so it bonds with the surface of the tree. And that way, if it does go up into there and drifts into another property, it's not going to contaminate anything. There's not going to be an actual pesticide. But it doesn't last long, and it needs to be applied multiple times in the season.
How long does it exactly last?
Pesticides can last between 30 days and 3 months out in the elements. Indoor pesticides can last up to 6 months.
Really?
Up to 6 months, because it's not exposed to the elements and heat and humidity.
Is that longer
and
than
moisture.
usual pesticides?
The pesticides we select, we like long-lasting residual, microencapsulated, where it has a stronger strength for a longer period of time. It reduces application numbers, meaning you may only need one treatment inside your house a year. If you do it properly, you do it very thoroughly. A lot of our customers, we just do once a year, and they're very satisfied. But some of the bigger properties, you need to do multiple applications, especially on the exterior, in the spring and in the fall. Because in the springtime, that's when all the bugs wake up, come out of the woods, come out of the woodwork. And in the fall, that's when they're all looking for shelter, like stink bugs and bees, when they're looking for shelter when it starts getting colder. So you really need like two strong, long-lasting residual applications is recommended. But we also offer a quarterly service where you're not doing all blown out treatments, but you're targeting the exterior and interior as needed. You can make it a warranty, so you don't have to go crazy. But we're really only supposed to spray around the house, about 10 feet around the foundation. Back in the day, we used to be spraying the whole yard, the whole perimeter. But we kind of reduced. We've been trained to be more conscious of the environment and how people perceive our industry as we're trying to be responsible and not take any risks.
How are you become most harmful to bugs?
Chemicals are harmful to bugs because they're labeled, their toxicity rate is at a low level, microscopic level, that they will kill bugs over time, over a period of time. And also the properties of pesticides is more or less not a nerve agent, but more or less to repel bugs, keep bugs from getting established in a structure, or in your bushes, so they can't build, like bees don't want to build a nest. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a poison. It can be like more of a repellent property. So you don't have to, it's not like a contact killer. We have contact killer pesticides, but that's usually in a target area, crack and crevice spot treatment. It's not in a broad scale where you could be playing in your swing set or whatever, and I'm treating for, like, say, bees or in a hole like carpenter bees. I can target the bee in that little hole, and you wouldn't really be exposed to it because I'm just doing a spot treatment, and you don't have to like run inside and wait till everything clears. So, and you can patch the holes. There's also things you can do, sealing up cracks, keep ants out of your house, and so you don't necessarily have to spray everything. You can seal up cracks, exclude bugs from your home.
You're working with the chemicals. Do you have to wear a suit or gloves?
Absolutely. I wear eye protection because I'm working high up, I'm waiting breathing protection, which is respirator, because when you're applying pesticides or mixing pesticides in its concentrated form, when you're mixing it, you can come in contact with these parts. They're even parts per billion, and they can go into the air when you're breathing it, or when it's misting, when it's coming down, when you're spraying. You don't want to breathe anything.
So
you don't want to breathe any of these products while you're doing the application. So as an applicator, you're going to be definitely being exposed to the product.
So it's harmful to your skin or anything?
Over time, not acutely, not like immediately, but if you do it over the years, I've been doing it for 20 years, you don't want anything, you want as less contact with the product as possible. So I use hand protection so that, so it doesn't dry out the oils out of my hand, because I'm working with, I do multiple jobs a day, where you would only ever come in contact with the dry chemical once it's mixed. Once it's mixed, well diluted, and it's mixed rate, and it's properly applied. But I'm using it in its pure form, so I need to protect myself because I'm using it long term. I don't want to have any incidents where I can develop allergies or anything like that. So. But every product that we use, we give a consumer information guide. We let you know of any possible hazards. The pesticides that we use, say whatever's on our truck, whatever's in our vehicle, you would like to know. We give a list of products that are in our vehicle, and there's like 3 warning hazards. It's usually in this concentrated form, which you'll never come in contact with. But we're required by law to give this information out. But never one incident has been reported in the state of New Jersey of anybody being poisoned by pesticides. Usually the children are more susceptible to stuff that's under your kitchen cabinet, like cleaning supplies and other things that you buy that are in the cabinets right now.
When you're just done spraying the chemical, do you have to stay out of your house when you're done, or you have to wait out for a few hours, or you can just go back into your house when you're done?
It depends. Depends what kind of treatment we're doing. If it's a general pest, like a silverfish, or like something small, like a maintenance kind of thing, we recommend the children not be home while we do the service, because our average service visit is about an hour and a half. If it's spot treatment, I can come in and just do like a target area, like a basement. Just stay out of the general area we're spraying. So if we're spraying the whole house, top to bottom, you shouldn't be home. Just for common sense. So you would be at school, you would be at camp during the summer. So it's primarily you would be at school. And as I say, you got to time it right as a customer. And, our quarterly services are done on the outside mostly. So if you're inside and we're just doing outdoor treatment, there's no worries about anything. We would say keep the children out of the yard for about an hour after we spray, because we want to get that treatment, make sure it's dried. Make sure once it's dried, it's completely safe. You won't come in contact with it.
What is your chemical mainly made out of?
Water. It's water-based products. It's like, it's the water is the carrier. You have to mix it, agitate it. It has to be the way they mix. Once you mix it in the water, it's evenly distributed. No matter how much you spray or where you spray, it's always going to be the same amount, the same strength. Depends on the label, but it's mostly water, because you're not spraying straight pesticides, concentrate. So it's the residual. It's crack and crevice. We're not supposed to use that much. It's very effective, so you don't really have to use that much. That's another thing. So you do crack and crevice, bugs are going to stay out of those cracks and crevices. They're not usually just flying around the house, They're just going to be coming out of the cracks out of the baseboard, so you just treat the certain areas in the corners where the spiders would go, and you'll have no more bugs in your home. Are you satisfied?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much with Sarah and with the Lemonex, Derek with the Lemonex here in South River, New Jersey. And that was a very tough question. You see how many different parts are pesticides dangerous. It is a very sensitive issue. Whether if you're using even natural chemicals, like if you choose a company uses natural products, I just explained.
Well, with your
Even natural chemicals can cause breathing hazards because the stuff that they use in their products have like spices and pepper and oils, and you could be allergic to that. You'd be breathing that. Just because it says natural doesn't mean it's not hazardous. So you got so there's just, it's a very sensitive issue.
Is that hazardous to the furniture and walls and windows?
No, all water-based products aren't hazardous.
Ah.
So all water-based products aren't really hazardous except fish. Fish and birds are very because they breathe that. They breathe in that environment, so they're very sensitive to any kind of pesticide, any kind of foreign material. It messes with the pH level of the water. So I wonder if we're still recording. Let's turn this off for now.
Well, it still has a